Welcome to Pay Attention, a podcast guiding you from the chaos of the mind to the clarity of the heart. Here's your host, Holly McNeill.
Hello, welcome. Good morning. Probably to most of you, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining me today for this really exciting episode. So my bedroom has 4 walls, right? Pretty typical, a window on one wall, a door on one wall, and 2 very solid walls. One wall in particularly is solid because if it had a window in it, it would look right into my neighbor's entryway. So why am I telling you this? Well, sometimes we wake up early in the morning, we drift back to sleep. And often I dream that I wake up in my room. And so it's sometimes confusing to me. I'm asleep, I'm awake, and I'm dreaming that I'm waking up in my room. One such morning, I woke up and I saw a window in that otherwise very, very solid wall. And I knew it wasn't supposed to be there. And though my house is a 2-story house, I looked out that window and I was 5, 6, 7 stories up. And it dawned on me, I'm dreaming. This is a dream. I became lucid in that dream and the world opened up. The world of dreaming, the world of lucid dreaming is amazing. It's a place for exploration. It's a place where you have much more control. It's a tool to learn, to grow, and to have some fun. So I've been wanting to bring lucid dreaming to this podcast for a while. It's very much been a part of my journey. And so I reached out to some of the world leaders in lucid dreaming. And that's what's super cool about this podcast is it's getting to the point where I reach out, and because of you wonderful listeners and viewers, people say yes. And so today I have on the podcast a world leader in lucid dreaming, Dr. Clare Johnson, or Dr. Clare Johnson. Yes, sorry. Anyway, she was one of the first people to have a PhD in lucid dreaming. She is the keynote speaker at the International Association for the Study of Dreams conference. This year, she met me in the studio. Unfortunately, she's not able to be with me live today, but please, sit back, relax, listen to what she has to say. It's amazing. And if you have questions and comments, please let me know, because I will actually meet her at the conference, the International Association for the Study of Dreams conference in June in Ashland, Oregon, which she recommended to me, as I will also be speaking there. So take a deep breath, sit back, and enjoy this amazing, illuminating episode on lucid dreams. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pay Attention. I am very, very grateful for my guest today. I have, as many of you know, I've been on quite a journey from the small and isolated, from the lost and scared and anxious and fearful, to the awake and aware and as far as you want to go. And this topic we're going to talk about today, lucid dreaming, it was definitely a part of that journey, a dear part for me. And today, my guest is one of the leading voices on this topic. She's written many books, from how to become more lucid in dreams to how to transform and understand nightmares and heal through that awareness. So I am so very grateful to introduce Dr. Clare Johnson. Clare, thank you so much for agreeing to come on today.
Oh, you're welcome, Holly. Thanks for inviting me. It's always a pleasure. And it's great that you've had experience with lucid dreaming. I'd love to hear something about that at some point.
Yes, I'm sure we'll get into that as we go along. But first, tell us how you got interested in it. What brought this whole career, this whole ability to share all this amazing information with others to your life?
Oh, yeah. So it started from childhood. I was always a very vivid dreamer, and I used to shoot up out of my body in the night and have these incredible adventures. I think sometimes they were out of body experiences, other times They were definitely lucid dreams, but I didn't have a name for them. I just thought of it as being that special kind of dreaming, and yeah, so I basically, but I also had a lot of nightmares and sleep paralysis, which is when you feel like trapped in your body and you can't move. So there were situations that were very tough as well as the wonderful flying dreams. And I had to figure out the rules. I had to figure out, what do I do when I'm really scared? Because I started to gradually notice that the more scared I was, the worse the nightmare became. And so that was kind of an early understanding of the thought responsive nature of dreams. And so I had to kind of learn to navigate these realities. And at that time, I didn't know anybody who knew what lucid dreaming was or what out of body experiences were. Nobody even really helped me with nightmares. My parents were just like, oh, never mind, just go back to sleep. So, that was about all I got from them.
Keep
Which
calm and
wasn't
carry on, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's not their fault. That's just the way it was. And people in those days, they just didn't know as much about how to take care of kids with nightmares and stuff. But yeah, but it just meant that in a way it was a blessing because I had to get through all of that myself. And then I learned deeply and learned loads of techniques for navigating the dream realm. And then it just sort of happened that I ended up being so fascinated by the topic that I studied it. And I ended up doing the first PhD on lucid dreaming as a creative tool. So that kind of started all of the teaching that I've been doing as well.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Again, why I'm so grateful for you to be here and to have that awareness earlier on is such a gift. And I absolutely agree with you that sometimes things that seem horrifying are actually showing you the way. So for those listeners out there who might be new or just tuning in, how do you define lucid dreaming? Just to be clear about what we're talking about.
Yeah, so lucid dreams are dreams where you know that you are dreaming. So you're in a dream and there's all sorts of stuff happening. You might be climbing up a mountain, or you might be flying or seeing friends. And then suddenly you realize, oh my goodness, this is a dream. My body is asleep in bed, but I'm fully aware in the dream state. And that gives you a whole load of options and possibilities. You don't have to control the dream. Now, a lot of people think that lucid dreaming is all about control, but it's not. It certainly doesn't have to be. You can just relax and go with the flow of whatever's happening. You're climbing a mountain, you keep climbing it, you keep having a conversation with someone, you keep talking to them. But you can also choose to engage with the dream in a conscious way. Like you could ask, if a monster's chasing you, you could say, why are you chasing me? Do you have a message for me? What's this all about? So you can actually sort of have therapeutic encounters within the lucid dream state. So you can guide the dream towards healing or towards receiving information about something that you would like to know more about. Or doing things that you want to do, or practicing skills like public speaking or yoga poses. I mean, you can just do pretty much whatever you want once you have stable lucidity. And stable lucidity is when it's as easy to be lucid in the dream as it is for you and I now, Holly, to sit here and focus on each other. And we're in a stable environment and we're having a conversation which is continuing. And you can get dreams that are that lucid, that stable. And when it's that stable, you can do whatever you want to do, as we can now. We decide to stand up and walk out of the room, or we could have a drink of tea, or whatever it is that we can do that's close by. And it's the same in the dream state. Once you have that stable lucidity, you can make decisions about your actions and your reactions. And so it can be a very valuable tool for studying the fabric of consciousness, really.
That's why it's been so fascinating to me. My experience with it was when I first, and I imagine this is when you talked about stable lucidity. My experience with it at first is, you realize you're in a dream and you go, oh, I'm in a dream, right? And I tend to wake myself up. So it's like I have to learn to stay calm in the dream. And the beautiful part about being lucid in the dream is that you can, like you said, you can do whatever you want, kind of without, I mean, not without consequences. Obviously, you're dealing with the subconscious mind there. But I've often jumped out of windows and just, went flying. But there's so much more to that, and that connection with what's going on in your subconscious mind. So talk a little bit about having this awareness inside and what that can mean for emotional healing. Or you talked about, asking your dream questions. Once you get in there, and it's true, you can go skiing, you can I don't know, fly is a big one. But if you want to really, what can you find out about yourself, or what tools can you tell our listeners for healing within dreams?
Well, it can result, if you're in a lucid dream and let's say you're grieving, let's say you've lost a loved one and you're very upset and it just feels terrible to not see them anymore, then in a lucid dream, what you could try if you have stable lucidity is asking for them to appear and to give them a hug, or to say the words that you wanted to say to them, or just have fun with them, go on an adventure with them, something like that. And that can be extremely healing. I've been teaching this topic for, about 25 years, something like that. And so many people who I've worked with have had healing lucid dreams related to deceased loved ones. And whether or not you believe that it's the actual deceased person in the dream, or if it's simply kind of like a composite of memories and their personality and all of this, it barely seems to matter in terms of the healing, because it is just a wonderful feeling to actually reconnect with that person and experience the joy and the love. And a lot of people do feel that they actually meet the deceased person, that it's kind of like a way of connecting with that other realm.
Claire, that is so amazing you would bring up that subject. I have 2 or 3 very, very close people to me who have just lost their spouses in the last year. And I told my friend last night, I was telling her about this interview, and she said, well, I want to listen to it. So thank you for that. She will definitely get some value. She's really struggling with it.
Of course.
So, and I love the synchronicity of life sometimes. I was just interviewing someone for the podcast who's actually an architect, and I am an architect, but I told him again about this interview, and he said, when I was young, I used to have nightmares all the time. And so at a very young age, I learned lucid dreaming in order to heal from those. So I thought that is amazing. Tell us about that. So if someone's out there having nightmares, and which can be so disruptive to life, what can lucid dreaming bring to that situation?
Yeah, I wrote a whole book on this called The Art of Transforming Nightmares, because this is one of the most powerful applications of lucid dreaming. It can help people who suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and it can help children who are suffering from monster nightmares, or people who are having very, very extreme anxiety dreams. So it's actually got so many applications. And the main application is that when you know that you are dreaming, then you're in a position to engage consciously with your unconscious mind in an incredibly powerful way, because you're in this multi-sensory environment that feels just as real as waking reality. And so you can then ask to experience healing, or you can get specific and say, why do I always get so stressed before I give a presentation at work, for example? Why do I always get these terrible stress dreams that I'm standing in front of the office and my presentation's falling apart all around me and I'm making a fool of myself?
Or I don't have my pants on, or
stress nightmare. What's the root of this? And the dream, because the dream is part of you. You are the lucid dream, and the lucid dream is you. It knows all of your memories. It knows all of your traumas, and it will just pinpoint it and be like, that goes back to, fifth grade when you gave a presentation and then this, the teacher shouted at you because you said something silly, or the kids mocked you, or whatever it was. And then you make the connection, and just sometimes just realizing, oh my goodness, I become that little kid again, or that young person again, when I'm in this situation of giving a presentation at work. And that's why I'm so scared, and that's why my heart races and I have nightmares about it. It just makes you understand, okay, I'm past that now. I'm going to do a bit of healing work with my child self, and then I'm going to move on from this. So it can really help you just to understand why. And when I do nightmare work with people, this is always what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the core. What triggered this? Why do you react a certain way? Or where did this fear come from? For example, so many people are fearful of death, and a lucid dreaming can really help to understand why we're so scared of death, where that came from, how that was instilled into us when we were younger, and also to help us understand that consciousness can exist beyond death. At least that may sound like a big leap for some listeners, I don't know, but I have had many experiences of what I call deep lucid dreaming, which is when the whole of the dream, like all of this stuff that we see, all the dream furniture, falls away. So we're not in a regular dream where we see people and cars and hills and valleys. Instead, we find ourselves floating in luminosity, like floating in space. And gradually, when that happens, we tend to not have a dream body anymore. So the body dissolves, and we end up as like a point of conscious awareness just floating in this blissful light. And then even that point of conscious awareness dissolves. Like there's no ego anymore. It's like a timeless situation. You're just sort of there. Dissolved into all the oneness. And these experiences of oneness, you emerge from them feeling completely refreshed and renewed, regenerated, and with less fear of death, because there's this understanding that everything is one, and that consciousness is continuous, and nothing can really break that. I do believe as well that we are conscious all the time through every single stage of sleep. Even in the deepest stages of sleep, there is still consciousness. So I think exploring these deep lucid dreaming states, or having out-of-body experiences, can really help us as well to understand the way that life and death become seamless parts of each other. So that can be very reassuring for people.
It sounds like such an amazing healing tool, right? It sounds it's like sign me up, but it is something that is elusive to people. And you've answered a lot of my questions as you went along. But so the dream world can be that specific to answer your questions. Will it actually speak back to you? Let's talk about the environment of the dream world for a little bit. So will it actually speak back to you? I'm always finding myself a little scared when I'm there. It's like, I'm going to look in the mirror and I'm going to see, like, I don't know, worms come. I don't know. I just have this fear. First looking at my hands, and you're right. The more you look at it, okay, the more you get familiar with it. But does it actually speak back to you, or?
Yeah, it can do. So there are lots of different ways in which the dream can respond. Sometimes there's kind of like what people call a sort of voice of God, where you get this booming voice saying something back to you. But for me, I don't get that as much at all. What I tend to get are, well, several things can happen. Sometimes you get pulled into another scene. So suddenly the dream that you're in, you'll ask a question like, how can I heal my knee? Let's say you have a knee issue. How can I heal my knee? And there'll be a pause, and then suddenly, you get sucked out of that dream, and then you're put in this other space, and then some sort of healing will occur for you, or you'll be shown why you have that knee issue. Is there some sort of fear of moving forward in life, or is it something like that, or is there some other underlying reason for it? Could it be something hereditary, or some sort of answer will emerge? But often it emerges in the form of imagery. For me, that's the most common way. So there'll be some sort of imagery, and I will just be shown, and then I'll just understand. Oh, I get it.
So you don't need your voice necessarily. You just
no, yeah.
Because you said that it is the dream is you, and you are the dream. That there can be that connectivity without the sound.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And that's what it is. It's like dancing with the deepest part of yourself. There's something very beautiful about that level of communion and communication. But I do want to say as well that like a lot of people come to me, they write to me and they say, Claire, I really, really need to heal, but I can't get lucid in my dreams. Therefore, I can't heal. And I say, no, you don't have to be lucid in a dream to heal yourself. You really don't. Basically, I believe that we can access healing in pretty much any state of consciousness, right? It's more it's it's more likely or it's easier when you're in a slightly altered state, not in this very alive, bright state that we're in right now because we're thinking and we're
We're
busy.
concretized. We're stuck. What I call, yeah.
Exactly,
Hmm.
exactly.
Hmm.
But I mean, I have loads of like guided meditations, and whenever I do retreats or workshops, I'm always like bringing people into that very relaxed state of consciousness where you just float on the edge of sleep. And that is one of the most powerful states of consciousness because your body is basically asleep, but your mind is alert. And then you're able to drop in that very profound intention for healing. And it's like dropping a pebble into a lake. The ripples then expand into your unconscious, and the message is received. So I hope that everyone listening understands that you don't have to be lucid in a dream to heal yourself. Far from it. There are loads of other healing states of consciousness, and lucid dreaming is simply one of them.
I love that altered state is where, I teach a lot about your thinking mind, how you can get so stuck in that and you can only see life through that lens. And so when you're about to fall asleep or wake up, those lenses, those kind of fall away. And for my journey, that's been a lot of the time. It's early in the morning or right before I go to bed when all of that healing happens. But
Exactly. And we need to be able to find these moments and just basically healing is a state of mind. It
yeah.
actually is a state of mind. And so it's very important, like what you just said, Holly, is that we have to be able to switch off from that kind of over alert, overthinking mindset to be able to drop down into the place or the space or the state of consciousness where healing is right there. And it's something that a lot of people have psychological blocks as well. I mean, we all have our psychological blocks, but some people have psychological blocks about being able to heal themselves. So if I work with the clients, like I have private clients as well, and if I work with them, then we work almost instantly. We try to get to the root of whatever possible psychological blocks there may be that's stopping them on their healing journey.
Right.
Because until you get to that, nothing's going to work. You've got to be able to get to the core, the psychological core of why things aren't shifting yet and work on that level.
Yeah. Well, as you said, you have to you can put those intentions in your dream, but our minds are very, very, very powerful. As you know, in a lucid dream, you can, I've gone as far as like, oh, my sister's behind the door. You open the door and she's there. So you have a lot of power there. And if you don't believe that you can heal, your mind is equally that strong, right? So that intention has to be out there. That this is what I want. This is what I want to see. Show it to me. So
exactly, yeah.
So you've written several books on the topic. You said you're the first PhD. Can you talk a little bit about the science behind it, or that this is something that's proven? When you're sleeping, and is there a difference in the brain waves when you're lucid dreaming, or how? Just tell a little, for those people that might be like, what is she even talking about?
Yeah, so lucid dreaming was scientifically proved for the first time in 1975, so it's quite a long time ago. That was by a British psychologist called Dr. Keith Hearn, and they did laboratory studies where the subject would lie down and go to sleep, and he'd be attached to all the machines, the brain waves, and they'd measure his eye movements, and they had the pre-agreed signals. So the lucid dreamer would, when he became lucid in the dream, he would look left and right with really big sweeping eye movements that could be seen on the polygraph machine. And he managed to do this, so they actually had completely different eye movements from what one would normally have in REM sleep. And that proved that, okay, he is now lucidly aware in the dream world. And that was the start of hundreds and hundreds of experiments into lucid dreaming and the physiology of lucid dreaming. And it's been found that lucid dreams don't always have to happen in REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep, but many of them do, because that is the stage of sleep where we tend to have very bizarre, vivid dreams, like really strange scenarios happen. We'll find a giraffe in our sitting room, or we'll find ourselves, we're the pilot of a cruise liner, and, all these crazy things that often these happen in dreams, and we wake up and we think, why didn't I realize I was dreaming? That's just completely crazy. But these are the dreams where we have the biggest opportunity to become lucid, because they're so strange. And so in REM sleep, there are parts of the brain that are 30% more active than the waking brain. And this is it's a very kind of paradoxical stage of sleep, because we're so awake and alert in so many ways. Our brain is so busy, and there are many other physiological changes as well, which show that the body is in a state of arousal, including genital arousal, as it happens. Experience that in REM sleep. So it's an interesting sleep stage, and
it's not the deepest sleep, right? It's the one we're talking about right before you go to sleep. Because sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and then I'll fall back to sleep, and that's when I have some of my lucid dreams.
Yes, exactly. That's one of the best times for lucid dreaming. So it's not deep sleep. It's really the REM stages. You have the cycles go so that you have only perhaps 10 minutes, 15 minutes of REM in the early parts of the night, but towards the end of the night, those cycles get longer and longer. So towards the very end, you may have like an hour of REM sleep. And then that's a really good moment to get lucid, which is exactly the moment you were just mentioning. But another good time to try and have a lucid dream is also during afternoon naps, which I find amazing. Yeah, because again, you're not in a deep sort of stage of sleep.
Right,
you're just kind of drifting through, and then you drift down and start having some nice dreams, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm actually lucid in the dream, and I know what I'm doing, and I can ask for healing, or I can fly to the moon, or whatever. So that nap times are very good for lucid dreaming. Yeah.
Claire, there are so many things that I could talk to you about this. So it is hard for people to realize, they wake up and they go, how did I not realize that was a dream? Because when you go to sleep, you're waking up in a totally different situation, and you're clearly totally unaware that you're sleeping. For me, it's something more subtle. It's like, wait, there's no window in that wall. So I often wake up in my bedroom.
Yeah.
But wait, there's no window in that wall, so I must be dreaming, right? And then I'll open the window and it's 4 stories high instead of 2. So it's really subtle. If I can't make a phone call, I can't ever figure out how to make a phone call. Then I'm dreaming, right? So why is it so hard for people to realize, to wake up in their dreams?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the person, and I think that it's for sure you can learn it and you can refine it. And I think for you, for example, noticing those little differences, that works for you. But for some people, they'll be kicking themselves because it won't have worked for them. But the way to kind of fix that is to take the dream that was a bit crazy and that should have made you realize that you were dreaming, like let's say the giraffe in the sitting room. Just take that dream and lie down and close your eyes and go back into that dream and really vividly imagine it. But this time, as it plays out, you imagine yourself going, hang on a minute, giraffe in the sitting room, that's crazy, that wouldn't happen, I must be dreaming. You imagine yourself becoming lucid and then doing whatever it is you'd love to do, like going flying or something like that. And also, I mean, writing down your dreams is really important so that you can get the general themes. Like some people always dream about their childhood home. And so then you say to yourself, okay, next time I dream of my childhood home, I will recognize that this is a dream. Yeah, so you've got to train the brain, and it is trainable. And as I say, afternoon naps are pretty good because you can lie down and have an intentional sleep, and you can listen to very relaxing music or a guided meditation just to take you to the edges. And it's possible to actually stay conscious as you fall asleep. That's known as a wake initiated lucid dream, or wild. So you can go straight into a lucid dream. You kind of go through the hypnagogic stages, which are when we have those flashes of imagery or sensations or noises as we're falling asleep. That's a really great thing to look out for. See if you can notice your hypnagogic imagery as you're falling asleep.
To pay attention, right? And I was going to ask you about that, because I have seen that where I'm sleeping and I see the tables taking shape. I see the people, they first start as kind of a cloud and then they come in and then you're in it. I've seen myself going into it.
That's amazing. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I mean, I've written about this, like all the different stages of hypnagogia and how we can learn to recognize those stages. And it's like watching the building blocks of dreams assembling.
It is.
Assembling is so exciting.
It's amazing. You have written so many wonderful books, and again, we can talk forever, but I do try to keep these, keep them, not keep you on too long. But so if somebody's listening to this and it's new to them, or they've been trying, what book do you suggest they read, or what's a tip, or where does somebody get started?
Yeah, so the best book for someone who's just getting into the topic would be The Art of Lucid Dreaming. And that's got so many practices and techniques, and it's not too big either, but it's kind of got like 64 practices or something. And if you want to get really deeply into lucid dreaming, go for the complete book of lucid dreaming, which is basically most of my life's work in that book. It's really deep, and there's loads of science in there as well, and lots of different lucid dream examples. If you have nightmares, you could go for The Art of Transforming Nightmares. And if you're interested in sleep and the potential of sleep, with the loads of tips of how to have a good night's sleep and how to have lucid dreams, then you could go for The Elixir of Sleep, which is my newest book. So,
oh my gosh. Well, I will definitely be, you've reignited my interest in lucid dreaming. I will definitely, I think, what was the second book you said? The one that's your life's work. Yeah.
A really big one, The Complete Book of Lucid Dreaming. This is Llewellyn, published by Llewellyn in the US.
Yes, I will definitely be ordering that. So thank you so much, Claire, for coming on today. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are just, it's such an amazing tool. Something that's available. It's free, right, to everyone.
It's free, and you can try it every night.
Yeah, I love going to sleep. Because it's such an adventure. And it's about training your mind, and absolutely everyone can do it. So how do people find you? Where do they reach out if they want to connect with you?
So my website is deepluciddreaming.com, and I also have a podcast called Sleep and Deep Lucid Dreaming. That's kind of a new podcast, just started it this year. And I'm leading another class, one of the first live online workshops I've done for a while in January. And that's a 6-week class called Fire Up Your Lucidity. You can find details on the website. And I lead retreats as well. I've just come back from an amazing lucid dream retreat on Hawaii with an incredible group of people. And there's one in Portugal on May the 19th to the 23rd in 2026. And there's another one in Hawaii on dream healing specifically. And that's June 20th to the 24th. So various possibilities for anyone who wants to join in either online or in person. And it's very exciting.
That's exciting. This probably won't air until February or March. Okay. So your workshop, I'm sure you'll have other workshops. Wow, your work is amazing. I'm so grateful. It's the world right now, in a world that is struggling, and with all the divisiveness, especially here in the US. It's a place where you can go to find answers and clarity and calm.
And we do have all the answers within us. I truly believe, we have such depths within us, and it's really great to open up to that and let it come in and receive that wisdom and that joy and that freedom and the sense of anything is possible. That's what lucid dreaming gives us as well, the sense of infinite possibilities.
Yeah, it's like this life we're living is so concretized through our thoughts, and it's very, very difficult to see anything different. But that lucid dreaming really is a window. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of my Buddhist practices, they talked about the lucid dreaming. It's the same
Yes.
mind. So it's
Yeah,
just showing the power.
exactly.
So,
There's just so much more to discover. So we mustn't let the worries and concerns of the material world bog us down too much, because it's like that's the worst reaction in a sense.
yeah.
What we need to be able to do is look within, find the resources we need, bring that bright lucidity and that joy into the wider world, help others, and then we
Yeah.
change the tide. We change
That's right.
the
That's
flow.
right. That journey you just spoke of will then change the material world, because we're certainly creating from within. So
Yeah.
thank you,
That's
Claire, so
it.
much for
Thank you,
being here
Holly.
today. Yes, this has been such a joy. And thank you, listeners. I hope you got as much out of this as I did. And yeah, so when you go to bed tonight, it's, start to kind of pay attention to where you're headed into the dream world. So thank you again for listening, and I will see you on another episode of Pay Attention. Wow, Claire is amazing, and so much to learn from her. I think that, and what I said was true. That I enjoy going to bed at night because of the adventures you can have, and all you can learn, and all you can grow about who you are. And I really loved that she got into this, the connection to your true nature, that you can really get into asking those questions. Who am I? Why am I here? And that dream world will answer you once you know the rules. And it's not that it's hard. It's like everything else. It's like any other habit that you create. Like I talk about creating the habit of watching the mind. In this case, it's creating a habit of paying attention to your dreams. I talked about not being able to make a phone call, right? And so in the daytime, you remind yourself, if I can't make a phone call, I'm in a dream. If I see something out of the ordinary, I'm in a dream. And that wee hours of the morning is the best time. It's a beautiful time to connect and to see yourself fading in and out of dreams. Just close your eyes and watch as you go to bed as well. Just watch yourself. Watch what's forming in your mind. You can see it. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to walk right into those dreams. It's an amazing healing tool, dancing with the deepest part of yourself. We don't have the chaos of the mind in our way, and just a beautiful way to learn and to grow and to have some fun. It takes time to make that lucid stability. Is that what you called it? Stable lucidity. But yeah, if you're into it, if it's something you're interested in, check out her books. It's really a great part of this human journey. So without further ado, I will let you go for the day. I'll let you go out, maybe take that nap, watch yourself as you go in and out of that beautiful sleep. And yeah, find that awareness within your dreams. And within those dreams, you can set yourself free. So thank you so much for listening. Next week, I will actually not be able to be with you, but we are still having our live episode. And I have a wonderful, beautiful young lady, Cheyenne Moore, hosting next week. Her and Margaret Ard-Cadigan, they had both separately been on my podcast, talking about conscious awareness, their own journey to realizing the truth of who we are. And so please stay tuned, or please watch next week while I'm gone. I'm sure Cheyenne will do a wonderful job. Very open, beautiful people. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And I will see you back here on another episode of Pay Attention.
Thanks for watching Pay Attention with Holly McNeill. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next week on Wednesday at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern.